Hello and welcome to the Hidden Gems Show. This is the show where we interview local business owners from around the world. But today we are actually going to be doing a special episode of the Hidden Gems Show because today we're not going to be talking about a hidden gem in the context of a hidden gem business. We're actually going to be talking about a brand new destination that are many of you may not necessarily be aware of or maybe hadn't thought about differently. And so this is going to be looking at a new destination that is indeed a hidden gem for our community. And so I'm your host, Safir Jamal. I'm really excited because today I'm joined by my friend Anna, who's calling us from Cape Verde. Hey, Anna.
Hi, Safir. Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
It's going great. Right now, I'm actually in beautiful Mindelo. So it's a perfect winter destination.
Nice,
It's
nice.
like it's a great weather, lots of live music and dancing. Mindelo is actually considered a cultural capital of Cape Verde.
Wow, very cool. Okay, so I want to back up because I want to get into this, and there's a lot of fascinating insights here as to kind of what brought you there. So let's just start. First of all, for our viewers who may not be familiar, Cabo Verde, or I guess in English, Cape Verde, where exactly is that geographically speaking?
Yeah, so it's Africa and it's actually close to Senegal at that altitude. And you can get, you have actually direct flights so from Portugal, from France, also from Belgium or Germany.
Okay, and it's a former Portuguese colony, so the dominant language in Cabo Verde is Portuguese.
It's
And so,
Portuguese. And, yeah, and they have also the local language, which is Criollo. As some people speak some French. They also may speak some English in more like tourist areas.
fantastic. Okay, cool. So, I want to know what brought you to Cape Verde. When did you go for the first time? How many times have you been there? And
Yeah,
what kept you coming back? Because I think you and I chatted about this separately, and I think it's really fascinating for our viewers to learn about it.
yeah, I owe that to our common friend Gonzalo. Because it's been quite some time on my list, but I only decided to go, I think, winter 2021 when
Okay.
he started like some small community in Mindelo. So I decided to come and check the place.
Mhm.
At that time, like it was quite small community, it was just starting. But I really liked the place. I just noticed that like remote workers were very disconnected from local people. So when I arrived, I started to organize events to connect like these remote workers to local people through like culture or sport or events with some software companies,
Wow.
whatever I could find and think about. And so like the whole community became bigger and more interesting. I was a lot of fun, of course. So the next year I came also again on my own, and I continue like to do my small things. And eventually, because of that, like I get to know a lot of people. Cape Verde is a small country, right? So everybody knows everybody. We recorded actually once like Kizomba video for fun
Nice.
because we just see, and that video went viral, and everybody in the country saw it. And not just because of the dance, but they consider it like promotion of their culture in their country. So
Right.
it's something actually very interesting that these, hidden destinations,
Mhm.
the destinations that are unknown and not so many visitors comes to them, they are very trolled and they are very like welcoming. Like they are super curious about people that come here. They want to get to know your story, what you are doing here. They approach you. They want to be your friends. So it's for me, it's such a different experience to be in a
Yeah.
place where people literally want you. You just get, I would say, a VIP experience.
Yeah.
So first of that, and then actually, because I was doing these small things on my own, I enter in contact with government, and they actually asked me to make a project, right? Like to make a
Oh,
proposal for governments because they like the idea of nomad coming here, but they were, it was a small group.
okay.
So we started the conversation, and actually this year I came back, but I'm now working with Ministry of Tourism, and it's supported also by Cape Verde Digital, which is a digital transformation a governmental agency, because they see like remote work as part of the digital transformation and becoming more of tech country. Like the goal is actually to be tech islands of West Africa. So it's a big
Right.
goal, and like nomad could be a part of this project. So, and I just started this project, and the goal is like to destination awareness, make like more people aware that this is an option, that they can come here, get to know their country, explore by itself. And it's definitely something more adventurous, right? Like compared to typical nomad destinations, you
Hmm.
still feel you actually are a traveler or explorer, you are doing something different. You feel
Right.
you are in Africa, right? Very different experience. So
Yes.
for a lot of people, it can be literally life changing.
I love that. There's so many things that you mentioned that I want to touch upon. I remember back in the fall at Web Summit in Lisbon, I think you had posted a photo at the time which said that Cape Verde wants to be known as like the tech hub of West Africa. What have you seen in terms of development and infrastructure and innovation in the country since you've been there? And is it a dynamic environment with regards to tech and innovation and startup culture?
Yes, so I think they really like started with this mission a few years ago, but they are really serious of that because they have literally this Cape Verde Digital, which is
Hmm.
like separate organization in government that just
Hmm.
deals with digital economy and technology. So many
Wow.
countries in Europe that are way more modern don't have such institution, right?
Right.
And they do just
Right.
that. So they have like different projects that support like young local entrepreneurs. For instance, when we met at Web Summit, they were the only African country that had their proper stands, right?
Wow.
Usually, African countries, they only have like these booths that they rent for one day, and they are there
Yeah.
one day, the next day there is someone else. They really like invest money in that, and they bring then the local entrepreneurs. They organize like some concourse so those people can get out of Cape Verde, make some contacts, and that. So they are like different initiatives. Now, for
Wow.
instance, they have like these digital awards for like innovative products or services, or also for influencers. They also want to include in this diaspora, because actually Cape Verdeans living abroad are more than Cape Verdeans
Mm.
living in Cape Verde. So
Wow.
it's
Interesting.
very considerable asset in terms of money, but also, knowledge, education. Like if some of those people could come back to live, or at least invest or expand their businesses or consider hiring locals, then
Right.
that could completely transform, like, the reality of a small country.
Of course.
So when I think, like, generally, if a country is small, it's easier to make an impact because people are well connected. Everybody knows everybody, right? So if you got to know few right people, then you have access to many more. And in this sense, diaspora is also very important. And then people coming from abroad that they have like the right knowledge could be part of this project too. So we are, in line with this goal of Cape Verde being tech islands. That now they have also Starlink, for instance.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Very
that's
good.
important because it's 10 islands, right? And some of them are better connected than others.
Okay.
So they also instance like underwater, fiber. So they are making
Super
sure
cool.
that actually the access to internet will be possible on all the islands. And then on the islands that maybe were remote and they were focused on agriculture, now you can do much more. So the goal is actually ambitious, to stop being the country that just relies on tourism and the money sending by the diaspora, but becoming also more tech. They also, for instance, they just built a tech park
Mhm.
in Praia, and they are building now one also in San Vicente, which is the island where I'm in. And
Okay.
this is a good point then to connect like the local startups or even nomads, in this case, freelancers, and make it more dynamic.
Super cool. I mean, I'm just dying to come there, and everything you're saying is super interesting. I love the vision of a country that looks at its size, looks at its kind of current conditions, and says, just because we've been defined as a tourist island before that relies on remittances and diasporic advances, doesn't mean that that's going to dictate our future, right? We can chart a whole new path for our future. We can have a vision for being a tech
Respect
hub, digital,
ourselves,
and I
yeah.
exactly, and I think that countries that have this level of foresight and who have this level of ambition, these are countries where things are happening, it's dynamic, it's exciting, and you want to be part of that growth, right? So I'm really excited to kind of see what the country does.
Totally.
And
One of the reasons why I actually like being here, because I feel that like my impact in a small country can be so much bigger than in a country that's already developed and established, right? Like
right,
here,
right,
you do one project well, and it can be literally life changing for many people.
super
So
cool.
it is a mission, right?
Yeah. So we only have a couple of minutes left, but I want to do rapid fire questions. So I'm going to go through a few different questions, and I want you to answer what a lot of people who are watching the show here are probably considering, or at least wondering when they're thinking about Cape Verde as a new destination. All right. So first question: is it safe?
Yes, it is quite safe. It of course depends on which islands and how. One
Yeah.
of the reasons we choose Mindelo for this project is because it's quite safe island.
Okay.
To give an example, I walk by myself at night. I don't walk to any strange place, but like everywhere I have to go, I do walk by myself, and it's all good. So I think people
Perfect.
just need to get used, because maybe at the beginning, especially for those people that never traveled to Africa,
Mhm.
they may just not be sure how to act and what feels safe. But eventually, with time, you understand how you can act,
Sure.
and it's perfectly fine. I've been here now, like, I don't know, I think 10 months in total.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Second question. You already kind of talked about Starlink and connectivity, but generally speaking, for remote workers who are coming to Cape Verde, in particular, if they're coming to Mindelo, the island that you're building the community and really kind of establishing Mindelo as the hub for the remote working population, Wi-Fi speeds, anything to worry about, or everything is well taken care of and people should be fine?
They should be fine. The only thing, like if they rent flats on their own, then they obviously should check with the provider, but that's always the case if they have,
Yeah.
especially if they have special requirements. But they have like two co-workings actually in Mindelo.
Nice.
So
Okay.
in the worst case, if you cannot work at home, you can always go and work there. And they are also generally in coffee, because there is not many people working remotely here yet. So if you go to any bar or any coffee, you are always welcome to be there. So that's also an option.
Perfect. That's great, actually. It's, I mean, a lot of us want to work in cafes and don't want to have to worry about getting kicked out and that kind of stuff. So that's really good that we're welcome there. Okay, and then last question I have. A lot of people have heard of Cape Verde in the context of it being, this like beachy paradise island. But for some of us, beaches aren't really our vibe, and there's so many different islands that kind of stand for different things. So maybe give us a sense, like if you're not really into like the beach life, what else does Cape Verde have in terms of nature and expeditions and activities for a lot of us others, folks out here?
Right. Actually, even Mindelo has a beach like in town, so that they would have to go and look for Sal and Boa Vista are more like for the beaches.
Okay.
But for instance, Santo Antão, which is the island that's super close to Mindelo, like literally 12 kilometers, it's very interesting for hiking. It has like really exotic, views. Everything is green. You can sail, of course, or do kayaks, like basically any water activity,
Yeah.
or you can do kite surf. You can do safaris on the islands to get to know more than just the town. Mindelo in particularly, because it's a cultural capital, then you also have like or dancing or live music show, different
Very cool.
genres. They like to organize concerts. The good thing is like the concerts are always or almost always free. So it's something you eat to play in Europe, you just go here, and then there is a good music in the corner, and just on the street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, for those of you watching, you should definitely follow Anna on Instagram because you'll see her Kizomba videos and you can see what a superstar she is in her own dance moves, actually. But no, this is super, super cool, Anna. I'm really excited to see what you're going to do there and just in general how the community starts to evolve and to develop. If anyone who's watching here has any remaining questions about coming to Cape Verde and who are seriously considering, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Or they can just find me on social media. It's just or LinkedIn or Instagram. It's just my name, Anna Maria Kochanska. So people can just follow me or reach out. I'm actually actively posting about the project and the process. So that's the
Amazing.
best place.
Great. Perfect. Well, muito obrigado. Foi um prazer. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, of
Obrigada.
course. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what you do, and we'll chat with you soon.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks, Anna.